Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting of Carnegie Borough Council to order. We'll begin with a moment of silence. Thank you. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Steve, would you please take roll call?
Thank you, Mr. President. Councilperson Riley,
Here.
Councilperson Boyd, Councilperson Demko,
Here.
Councilperson Sarsfield,
Here.
Councilperson DeLoss, Council President Katina,
Here.
Mayor Kabistik. Here. We have a quorum.
Thank you. We now have the 2016 Arbor Day proclamation. Mr. Mayor?
Is it okay if I use May 14th as the date? It doesn't matter the date, I just have to go back to Earth Day, right?
No, yes,
Arbor doesn't-
14th is fine, because
Okay.
that's when we're doing our big plan.
Right, okay. Arbor Day Proclamation. Whereas, I love these whereases. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas the holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world. And whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, lower our heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, whenever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Now therefore, I, Jack Kabistik, Mayor of the Borough of Carnegie, do hereby proclaim May 14th Arbor Day in the Borough of Carnegie, and I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And further, I urge all citizens to plant and care for trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of the future generations. Dated this, the 9th day of May, the year 2016. There you go. We have an Arbor Day proclamation. Thank you, Bridget.
Can I give you an update on why we need that?
Oh,
Is
absolutely.
that okay? I'm Bridget Van Dorn, I'm on the Shade Tree Commission, and the reason that we need this proclamation, not just because it's a good thing, but we have been able, through this, with the proclamation, with planting over 120 trees, brought to town through grants from Tree Vitalize, and a couple other requirements, maintaining them, doing a tree inventory. This has allowed us to qualify for a very significant award called Tree City USA. So we are now 3 years, we have been recognized as Tree City USA, which is a great thing for the borough and a great thing to speak to the participation of the council members and the community to allow us to have that designation. So thank you very much for that. Thank you, Jack, for making the proclamation. So that's one more step toward our 4th year.
Thank you. And thank you and the Shade Tree for all your work. So, appreciate it. You need a copy of that?
Yep.
There you go.
Thank you. We also have a certificate of appreciation. Mr. Mayor?
A little while ago, a gentleman came to myself, and actually Keith Hatcher joined us, and he wanted to do his Eagle Scout project in the park. And so we vetted some of the issues that we have up at the park, and he decided that what he would do is refinish all the picnic tables, get rid of the graffiti, the messed up wood on some of the tops of the picnic tables. So he refinished the tops of the picnic tables and repainted them. And now we have a park filled with refinished picnic tables. And that gentleman is sitting in his Boy Scout uniform. If you'd like to stand up, I'll read you our certificate of appreciation. This is Michael Massandre. He's here with his father, Vince. Vince, stand up for a second so everybody knows who you are. And then who's that behind you, Vince?
My dad,
That's
Warren
what-
Massandre.
I was going to say that. His grandfather, and he has a friend next to him. Do you want to introduce your friend too? Michaela. Hi, Michaela. Okay, so here's our certificate of appreciation for the hard work for Michael. The Borough of Carnegie has a certificate of appreciation. It is presented on May 9th, 2016 to Michael Massandre. And the Borough of Carnegie hereby recognizes and thanks Michael Massandre for his outstanding work in refinishing the tops of the picnic tables at Carnegie Park for the completion of his Eagle Scout project. And it's dated today and is signed by the President of Council, Patrick Katina, and the Mayor, myself. So,
So I think it's like, now Pat, get the picture too, or? No. Okay, okay, anyway. Did you get your Eagle Scout? All right. Thank you. Here you go. Thank you very much. Appreciate your hard work. Thank you guys for coming.
And Mayor, I just want to say that a lot of people have commented about them and said how, what a great job and how nice they all work. So, thank you.
I thought he was a little crazy wanting to take that on, but thank you so much, Michael, for all your hard work. It was a pleasure working with you.
You're more than welcome. You can stay for the rest of the meeting if you want to, or if you'd like to go, we understand that as well. So.
And public works manager too.
I don't think you heard that.
It's a public works manager. You don't have to do it.
Is there any public comment on any of the listed motions this evening?
I read it in the Public Works section for the approval on the street for Capitol Drive and Christie. I just wanted to say they did a really nice job. I know you don't do that very often, but they turned out really well, and I was really, it was tough. It was tough, but they really did a nice job, especially on Christie last year when they fixed and kept the brick that was there, and they put it back. I think it was the same guys who did it this year, but anyway, they did a nice job. Once it was done, I hope it lasts a really long time. So I see you guys pay them.
Thank you. Any other comment? Seeing no other comment, we begin with administration. Councilman Riley, would you please read the administration motions?
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion 1A, motion to approve the minutes from the council meeting on April 11, 2016.
Second.
Motion has been made second. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries.
Motion B, to adopt the ordinance number 2430, an ordinance of the Borough of Carnegie, County of Allegheny, Commonwealth of PA, authorizing the proper officials of the Borough of Carnegie to execute an intergovernmental cooperation agreement with the Borough of Roslyn Farms for the reclamation, resurfacing, and cost sharing for portion of Angora Road pursuant to 53 PA CSA Section 2305.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
C, motion to offer part-time seasonal help employment for the Department of Public Works to Brad Morig, Logan Witwicky, Zachary Pfeiffer, Jake Seitz, and Jordan Adai at a pay rate of $10 per hour pending successful results of a physical examination. Starting date to be determined by the Superintendent of the Department of Public Works.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
D, motion to offer part-time seasonal help employment for the Department of Public Works to Frank Shemansky at a pay rate of $18, not to exceed 16 hours per week. Starting date to be determined by the Superintendent of the Department of Public Works.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion?
Just then it'll be a pleasure to have Frank back again.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Motion 1E, motion to ratify the lease agreement extension between the Borough of Carnegie and MA Beach Corporation.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We'll now have finance. Councilperson Demko.
Motion A, motion to approve the May bill list and bill list addendum.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, roll call vote, please, Steve.
Councilperson Sarsfield,
Yes.
Councilperson Riley,
Yes.
Councilperson Demko,
Yes.
Council President Katina.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion to approve the April 2016 invoices from KLH Engineers, Inc. and Gatons to Siri and Nicholas, P.C.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, roll call vote, please, Steve.
Councilperson Riley,
Yes.
Councilperson Demko,
Yes.
Councilperson Sarsfield,
Yes.
Council President Katina.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Public Works. Councilperson Demko, would you please continue?
Motion to approve payment application number 3 to Solai Construction, Inc. in the amount of $7,544.35 for work completed between March 1st and March 24th, 2016 for the 2015 sewer system repairs, contract number 2015-06A, sewer excavation.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, roll call vote, please, Steve.
Councilperson Sarsfield,
Yes.
Councilperson Demko,
Yes.
Councilperson Riley,
Yes.
Council President Katina.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion to approve payment application number 1 to Solai Construction, Inc. in the amount of $38,049.18 for work completed between April 1st and April 26, 2016 for the 2016 Capitol Drive and Christie Street Storm Sewer Project.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, roll call vote, please, Steve.
Councilperson Demko,
Yes.
Councilperson Sarsfield,
Yes.
Councilperson Riley,
Yes.
Council President Katina.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion to permit the Carnegie Sunday Softball Association to utilize 7th Avenue Field every Sunday from April 24th through August 31st, 2016, from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries.
Motion to permit Sullivan Contractors to utilize 7th Avenue Field every Monday for their men's softball league beginning April 1st through April 31st, 2016, from 5:30 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Public Safety, Councilperson Sarsfield.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion A is a motion to adopt ordinance 2429, an ordinance of the Borough of Carnegie, County of Allegheny, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, amending Chapter 15, Section 204 and Section 205 of the Borough Code of Ordinances relating to motor vehicles and traffic, Mary Street parking, creating a loading zone.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion?
Just to explain a little bit, with the businesses down there and pickups and stuff, the pizza shops, parking's pretty tight, especially since we redone the parking lot. So we needed to create a loading zone there. So there will just be parking on one side of the street. That'll be the State Store side of Mary Street, and absolutely prohibited parking on the other side of the street.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries.
Okay, motion to advertise 2431 ordinance of the Borough of Carnegie, County of Allegheny, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, amending Chapter 15, Section 205 of the Borough Code of Ordinances relating to motor vehicles and traffic, Ron Alley parking loading zone.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion?
Yes, again, with some of the businesses that have contacted us, our main street's pretty parked up these days, which is a positive, good thing. So they needed to, again, create a pickup area in the rear of the building. So they approached us, and this is just advertising that. We'll actually pass that next month.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Community Development and Code Enforcement, Councilperson Riley.
Thank you, Mr. President. 5A, motion to authorize the Borough Manager to provide the proposed zoning ordinance to the County Planning Agency for review as required by 53 PS 10608.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion?
If anybody, Mr. President, if anybody wasn't around, I'd just briefly touch on some of the zoning changes for our downtown area. The zoning changes will include a civic and professional district that will encompass Washington Avenue. And, the goal there is to protect the beautiful homes that are on Washington Avenue so that they'll be there for years to come. There's a downtown district, which our goal there is to protect the walkable Main Street that we have in the center of our downtown. That downtown district pretty much goes from Sainsbury to the East Main Street Bridge. And each one has different zoning criteria. And like one of the criteria in the downtown district is we're pushing for more retail on the first floor. So if you have a building that has been retail, it has to remain retail. If you have a building that isn't retail and is not being used currently as an office space, then it would have to be rented as retail on the first floor. And then we have a cultural district, which we're trying to do is highlight businesses and institutions that bring culture to the community. And that district will run from basically the library, which on the back end touches the East Main Street Bridge, right at the Historical Society, and runs up to 3rd Street. Yeah, it's a little bit of a gerrymander, but it encompasses everything we need to encompass, so it works for all. And we're trying to highlight businesses that are more that provide a little more culture. To give you an example, a retail establishment is welcome there, but like the retail that's coming in, the Country Chic Sisters Boutique, they take old material and transform it into new artistic type items. And that will be where the old Rome Hardware is, right at the corner of 3rd Street and West Main Street. So, those are the type of businesses that we think would do really well there. And then there's the arterial district, which is all along Mansfield, all the way down West Main Street. And then that will be more open to bigger developments. So each one has different zoning criteria, and that zoning is, anybody can view that zoning. There'll be a public hearing on it too. But at this point, it's going to be submitted to the Allegheny County, and if they have any issues, they'll let us know. That has to be done at least 45 days before we have a public hearing. So that's the next step in the process. The Planning Commission reviewed it a few weeks ago, and so they gave it the approval to take it to the next step. So it's kind of it in a very small nutshell, but it gives you an idea of what we're trying to do with the zoning here in the community. And we can elaborate on that more at another time, but I'm always open for questions. Thank you, Mr. President. Sorry for
Thank you.
the long
That's fine.
explanation.
Motion has been made and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries.
5B, motion to adopt resolution number 2016-06, a resolution of the Borough of Carnegie intending to apply for funds from the Active Allegheny Grant Program in the amount of $5,000 for the proposed Open Streets Carnegie event.
Second.
Motion has been made and second. Any discussion?
Just a quick information on, there's been a few communities like Brentwood and the city of Pittsburgh who have done Open Streets event. And these Open Streets events concentrate on your healthy businesses and healthy living and healthy transportation. And so we're planning on having our own Open Streets event. Right now the date that we've chosen is September 17th. There is grant money for it. We're going to apply for the grant, but it's our intention to fully go forward with this, no matter whether we get the grant or not. But the grant would help make the event much more spectacular if we can obtain $5,000 to support it. So, thank you.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. We'll now have committee reports. Code enforcement and community development.
No report for tonight, Mr. President.
Okay. Sue, I skipped you. I'm sorry. I didn't for finance.
No report.
Okay. Public safety, Mike.
Yes, our Public Safety Day will be June 25th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. here at the Borough Building. Last year's event was a great success with the help of the police department, the fire department, the mayor, and council. And it'll be a great event to come to because our new fire trucks will be there. So if you haven't seen them prior to that, in fact, they're coming in this week. So hopefully you'll be able to come to Public Safety Day and see them and not see them at some business or residence, and see them in the parade. But also they had their cash bash this past weekend. It looked to be a great success. I think there was probably over 500 people in attendance, which was absolutely spectacular. That people come out and support both the Bridgeville and Carnegie Fire Departments. And that's all I have right now.
Thank you. I don't have anything this evening. Manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just had a couple of things to note this evening. We are close to finalizing our 2016 paving program. To date, we've done Swallow Hill, Annabelle. We're currently working on Carnegie Park, Chiota Park. We've done 6th Avenue Extension, and that's where we're going to be finishing up here this week. So if there's any questions that come up as far as paving is concerned, you can call to administration and check in there. Also, a couple months ago, we moved forward with turnkey taxes, who was going to be collecting some past business privilege taxes and earned income taxes. To date, we have received $6,886.83, and this is just over a 2-month period. So I think to this point, it's definitely been worthwhile to work with Mr. Schuster and Turnkey, and over the next month, we'll get started on the earned income tax information. And that's all I have this evening.
Thank you. Mayor's report.
Thank you, Mr. President. The monthly report for April For the Carnegie Police Department is criminal arrests and citations were 10, traffic tickets numbered 68, parking tickets 509, complaints and self-initiated activities 1,044 handled by our department. Just wanted to mention last month I talked a little bit about some feral cat issues. This month I've had, once again, a number of complaints about feral cats. I don't know if where we're at with all that, but we, according to the animal control, is we definitely need an ordinance to address it. I can tell you we had, Sue was with us down at Irishtown. They had an issue with feral cats down there. Gormley, I just got an email today. Apparently there's feral cats up on Gormley that are causing issues. And then I've had a couple complaints about in the Dawson area for feral cats. So I'm thinking that it's something that we need to do sooner than later if we can possibly get a handle on it.
You have the ordinance, Steve.
Traffic update. It's that time. It's PennDOT time this week. So here's what we got going. It's the next couple weeks are going to be a little rough in and around Carnegie. That's all obviously if weather permitting. If weather isn't permitting, then everything will get pushed back. Not during Memorial Day weekend though. So with weather permitting this week, there'll be lane restrictions in the evening from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. on both the outbound and the inbound Parkway West, especially in the Carnegie area, all the way down to the tunnel. There will be outbound tunnel closures throughout this whole week in the evening from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. And then this weekend, the 13th through the 15th, beginning at Friday the 13th at 9 p.m., there'll be a full outbound closure of the Parkway West. Most likely, I think it'll probably include the tunnel, but at least from the tunnel all the way to I-79. And then the weekend after that, Friday, May 20th through the 22nd, there'll be a full weekend inbound closure. Once again, we will have our officers stationed at every intersection
Outbound this weekend?
outbound this weekend. That's at least, unless they changed it. Did you hear something different?
No, I
Okay.
know I'm waiting to stage 62 and I'll get stuck, but I won't because
We're
I'm going.
going the other way. So you should be good.
It's all about me, Jack.
Let me tell you something, when it comes to traffic, that's what it is. It's always about
Who's ever driving, yeah.
Right. I have to agree, Maggie, 100%. So, but that's the schedule right now. Now, if there would be a rain event during any one of these weekends, then the first weekend in June, they'll use as a makeup weekend. And then subsequently, is that right?
Subsequently.
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 I can't even say it. Anyway.
Subsequently.
Yes. June, there's some big events though, so it's not necessarily that they will go in sequence the weekends after that, but the first weekend in June is a rain makeup weekend. I want to thank, well, first of all, the 5K race was completed, and we had another very successful event. Profit was $21,389 to be exact, and so that another good year for profits. Last year we made a little bit more, a little over $22,000 for the fire department. All the money goes to the Carnegie Fire Department. I want to thank the sponsors and the participants. They're the ones that make the event a success when it comes financially. And then I also want to thank these individuals for all their work on the event. Chief Kennedy, Manager Steve Buter, Phil Boyd, Councilman Phil Boyd, who isn't here tonight, Patty Raygard, our secretary, our supervisor at Department of Public Works, Keith Hatcher, and then a special thank you to Secretary Renee Holden, who really did a great job of keeping everything organized. And I want to thank the Department of Public Works and the Carnegie Police Department for all their effort. It takes a lot to make this event successful, and we would appreciate all those individuals for their hard work. And those outside the borough who really did a great job. Donna Hatcher, she does an amazing job. She gets the donation for the bagels, for the fruit. She goes and solicits donations for gift cards, and she's just amazing. We appreciate all that she does for this race. In fact, the race wouldn't even happen without her. Brian Wilson, he donates the signs. He's a Carnegie resident also. We appreciate his help. Dan Conley, our DJ. This, in fact, was his last event. He retired after this event, so I don't know how they do it with the DJ. They probably just leave the mic, drop the mic. Is that what they do when they retire? I know in wrestling, they put their shoes in the middle of the mat and then they walk away, so that's about it. But I don't know how they do with the DJ, but we appreciate all the years of support from Dan Conley. Greg Romeo, he provided the free coffee and ran the event, so you can get all caffeined up and follow Greg in the crowd, because Greg was out there doing both, serving coffee and running the event. So we appreciate Greg and Carnegie Coffee Company for all that they do. Dr. Mike gave free massages. The Adventist Community Center did the bag check for us. A-Ward Cheesecake donated cookies. Roy Sanford donated cookies. And then I also want to thank Carlington High School. They get us, they support us very well. Mr. Pelko, Miss Bronson, and Mrs. Chanette. And then, of course, the football coach and the football team, Coach Gioder and his teammates, and his team, not his teammates, but his players, were a big help this year. And then lastly, I'd like to thank the Port Authority Police. They provide us police officers at no charge. And which started by as fair play, because on the 22nd, there's the 6K on the busway, and our police volunteer for that. And you can register here, you can go online to register, and that is a race that supports Special Olympics, so that's a good race too. And it starts right here at the Carnegie busway. Right, Chief? Yes. Okay.
What's the date of that?
The 22nd. May 22nd. It helps if I give a month too.
That's all right. I just keep showing up on the 22nd, and eventually.
That's the second time I did that today, though.
It's a Sunday.
What's that? Yeah, it is a Sunday, right? The race is a Sunday? It is. Yeah, probably because of less traffic with buses. Once again, we'll be getting ready to kick off the summer activities. We have some activities scheduled for the kids and families. The first activity we have is June 4th, which will be our second annual Dog-a-Palooza. That's at Carnegie Park. Christy Croshaw and her family and friends are organizing this event. That'll be from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. There'll be a lot of fun things for people to do up there, and if you have a dog, it's perfect. We want to highlight our dog park, so that's, we have the dog park up there. We have the Western Pennsylvania Humane Society that'll be there. They'll be providing low-cost shots to the dogs. We have a doggy parade and a costume competition, which if you missed it last year, it was really cute. One of the costumes that won, the two wiener dogs dressed up as Batman and Robin. It was awesome. It was funny. It was really cute. There'll be free doggy baths. John Weinstein will be there for dog licenses. Our officer Quattro and Dax will be there for a canine demonstration, and much more to do. Some vendors, and it'll be a lot of fun. It's short, compact, and fun. So it's a great way to socialize with your puppy. So come on up. And then to coincide with that event, our restaurant Bacon in the afternoon is having what they're calling Yappy Days. And that's a family-friendly event too, but there will be alcohol there. So if you'd like to bring your dog down and hang out with other dog owners, they're going to be closed in Sandsbury, in the block next to them, and having a Yappy Days event, which sounds really fun, if you ask me. So I think if you have a dog...
What are you doing, baby, with your dog?
It's up to
No
Bacon.
idea.
I have no idea.
It's the same day.
It's the same day, but in
Wiener
the
dogs
afternoon.
watch out.
I don't think the dogs can drink, though.
That's right.
I don't think the dogs can drink.
Yeah.
It's the happy hour. I like that.
Yeah.
We will be bringing back movies in the park this year. We'll have the full schedule on our website, and I'll be sending out an email blast. We'll be bringing back Carnegie Days at AMF Noble Manor Lanes, where any Carnegie resident, all you have to do is show your ID. You get 1 hour free bowling. That includes shoe rental, everything, at the AMF Noble Manor Lanes. And then we'll have the Carnegie Open Streets, which right now is scheduled for September 17th, which we think will be a really fun event. couple other things I'd like to remind people of is that this will be the third annual cultural day at our elementary school, and this is a really nice day for everyone in the community. We highlight a lot of the cultures that make up this great community of Carnegie, and that is the 13th. It's a Friday. It's at 1 p.m. The 29th, we will have at 2 p.m. we will have our annual Memorial Day parade, and the way it's shaping up right now, this parade may be the biggest and the best yet. So if you're not doing anything on the 29th, come out and watch the Memorial Day parade, honor our veterans, especially those that gave all, and I think you'll be really impressed with the parade. And then lastly, speaking of veterans, or two things speaking of veterans, is on the 23rd at Cefellos, he will be hosting 360 individuals, 260 veterans, pre-Vietnam veterans, so they were World War II and Korean War veterans. They will be coming in for lunch. It'll be a short stop at Cefellos, but he was asking if anyone is not doing anything that day, you'd like to line the street as they come in at 10:30 on the 23rd with a little flag to honor them coming in. They're just making a stop here on their way to DC to see the Korean War monument and the World War II monument. So, they try to get the interesting note to this story is they actually tried to find a restaurant that would house them, and they couldn't find not one restaurant that would house them in and around the city. And Cefellos stepped up, and even though it's going to be a really tight squeeze for Cefellos, they're organized and they think they can get all 360 in there, and they're going to provide them lunch. And it's a short time frame. They're going to give them lunch and get them out of there. So 10:30 along, it's Academy that comes off the Parkway, right, Chief? Lydia comes off the Parkway. Okay, Lydia comes off the Parkway. That's it. I think that's a Monday the 23rd. So they're looking for people to line the streets and greet them as they come in there, give them a warm Carnegie welcome. And then the last thing with the veterans is we will once again be doing our Honor a Veteran flag ceremony. If you have any Carnegie resident or someone who has a connection to Carnegie, and if you'd like to honor a member of your family that served, a deceased member that is, we fly their casket flag at our borough building for 2 weeks, and we have a very nice ceremony, represent the flag back to the family, and so we will be doing that again this summer. The applications will be here at the borough building and on the website, and it's a real nice event. And if you have somebody that you would like to give a special honor to, we'd be more than happy to do that for you. If you've never seen one, you should just come down and join us. I think you'll be very impressed on how well it's done. The VFW, the American Legion Riders, and the American Legion, and the Borough of Carnegie partner on this endeavor, and this will be our 5th year doing it. So, yeah. Well, that's all I have, Mr. President. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll now have general public comment. Anyone wishing to state anything, please step forward, state your name and address, and keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. Maggie, you don't need
just
to.
all you.
All right.
That's all. I didn't
I comment.
You have to comment because I didn't do any of the library
I
stuff.
have to
because you were
comment,
here.
okay, first off, I'm sure everybody who lives and works in Carnegie, I hope you got our 115th anniversary full color issue. No, did you get one? We're very proud of this, and actually, Never Press that does print our newsletter for us is the one that suggested they do it in color, and I think it makes a huge difference. This picture of Library Hill 115 years ago just generates a tremendous amount of interest, and I hope you read the article, but we're speculating that that's Lola walking up to work, who eventually married the library director, Mr. Becker. Read the story. In terms of programming to announce, there's a couple of things that we do that I don't really talk about. The library does Brown Bag lecture series. It's just a lunch the last Wednesday of every month, from the sublime to the ridiculous. I guess the sublime is we're doing Fabergé eggs. Somebody is giving a talk on Fabergé eggs this week and this month, and last month, that will be on the 25th. I was actually so unprepared. A guy talking about car safety, what we should have in our car, and the things we should do. I would have failed every single thing. I just usually do my damsel in distress thing, and so far it's come out okay. You missed a fabulous birthday party, great concert, C Street Brass. I know you've heard C Street perform when they were at the benefit.
yes.
Amazing performers. This isn't us, but Stage 62 is opening Assassins Thursday night. It's Stephen Sondheim. Stephen Sondheim is not your grandfather's Oldsmobile, not your grandfather's musical. This is truly about the 13 people who either succeeded or attempted to assassinate presidents. I saw it in LA. It's amazing, and it's actually there were things that were going on that I didn't even I didn't know they happened. I'm set like Jack, sorry. But it's definitely well worth seeing. And I'm going to do a plug for Carnegie Stage, because they're doing something called Musical of Musicals. Gavin Paver, who performed for us with our Sondheim show, is it a musical where it's a spoof, almost like Rashomon, the 7 different versions, were in the style of Rodgers and Hammerstein, Sondheim,
My wife loved
Kander
that show,
and
by the
Ebb,
way.
the one,
Yes.
oh, he was amazing, yes. But I'm going to see this, so tell Hans, everybody, I'm doing a plug for Hans. That's this weekend, but it just should be a lot of fun. And just to get it on everybody's calendar, Pat PennDOT's calendar, our big benefit is October 1st. We should be done with everything then.
If we're not done with everything by then, then
But just also scheduling things. I'm just boasting now, we just got a grant, and we'll be introducing it with our October 1st benefit. We're finally getting new curtains in the music hall. The Hillman Foundation gave us a grant to do that. It's going to make a huge difference in terms of the traveling grand curtain that opens and closes, as opposed to that quaint but creaky ski-bow castle that would get stuck in the middle. And safety, new rigging for the lights. And that's it. So there's my comment, because you count on it.
Now, quick question, when did the kids program start? Are they gonna do the signs in the mouth?
Oh, yes, but that's in June. That's in June. This is May. I know, I'll be back. Okay, yes, our summer reading kickoff.
I mean, it's not.
All right, wait. It's not off the top of my head. Summer reading kickoff is June 13th, and is it in here? I will get that to you, but it's a little bit later that we have math for you and science for you. It's on our website, and I'm sorry, I don't have
That's
that.
all right,
And I'm just going to echo Bridget's comment. I called Keith on his cell the first time I drove down Christie Street with an experience after all those years, and wondering if you're going to make it up and down. It was really very nice. So thank you.
Is there any other public comment? Seeing no other public comment, we'll begin with Council of Good and Welfare. Councilman Sarsfield.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, I want to recognize our police department, our chief of police who's here, and policemen all across America. May 15th is Police Memorial Day. In the past, I've gone to Washington, D.C. in observation of that day, and of all things, certainly the candlelight vigil is quite a moving event. They read off all the names, and but if you're able to ever make it, whether you have someone in your family or not, it's quite an event to see. It really is. Like I said, I've been there 3 or 4 times. And, I was actually at the one right after 9/11. And it was really, there were bobbies from England, there were Japan, Taiwan. I mean, there were just officers from across the globe at that particular one. But then I just wanted to say to the chief and all of his officers, not so much what happened in their day, but let you know that we're always thinking of you guys and what you do out there. Also, I don't know if anybody sees, we have a Purple Heart flag. We were unable to fix it up here to one of the flag poles up front, but the city of Pittsburgh was selected as a Purple Heart city, which is a really cool thing. I think most people kind of know what a Purple Heart is. You receive it for being wounded in active combat by an enemy using some type of weaponry. George Washington actually created the Purple Heart in 1782. It was known as a badge of military merit. It was just a ribbon at that point, a piece of cloth. It was recreated in 1932 under Douglas MacArthur. But the city of Pittsburgh, as I said, was selected as one of the Purple Heart cities. And I did a little history here, and I'm hoping to work with my colleagues, the mayor and council, that in order to be part of the Purple Heart Trails, you find a piece of roadway or a park or something, and you name it Purple Heart Drive or whatever, and hopefully that we have enough time to work towards this next year. By next Memorial Day, hopefully we'll have a sector of road somewhere here in the borough that we can call Purple Heart Avenue Road, whatever we decide. But I think that it's definitely great recognition to all our brave men and women that ultimately sometimes pay the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom. Believe me, we wouldn't have a library, we wouldn't have a school, we wouldn't have a borough building, we wouldn't have anything if it wasn't for our veterans. And I think sometimes we take it all too often for granted. Which actually leads me to a little story here that I recently heard, just kind of neat. It's about this fellow named Elgin Staples. He was a Navy seaman serving during World War II. And he was thrown overboard. His ship had been struck, and he was thrown overboard, and he had his safety belt on. So he pulled the cord, and the safety belt worked. Well, they were able to get him onto another ship, and they went to take the safety belt off, and he's like, no, I think we're still under attack here. He gets thrown back into the ocean. Gets rescued a second time. Finally, the attack is folded off, and he removes the safety belt. And as he's recovering in the hospital, he says, the first thing I want to do is go home and kiss my mother. And he kept his safety belt with him the entire time. He said, I want to thank the inspector who inspected this belt because it saved my life 2 times. And Goodyear actually made the safety belt. So he goes home and he's telling his mother this story, and he said how thankful he was to see her and embrace her. And he said, I want to thank this inspector. So she looks at the inspector's number, and lo and behold, it was her who inspected that belt, who saved her own son's life. I just thought, what a moving story. I mean, to think, you go overseas or you go wherever, and, you always think of your mother, and certainly her children are always in her thoughts. But to think that she actually saved her own son's life, not once, but twice. I just thought, what an amazing story, and I just wanted to share that with everybody. And in closing, although Mother's Day was yesterday, every day should be Mother's Day. And I'm sure Maggie's familiar with this quote, and everything I am or will ever be, I owe to my angel mother. And I was Abraham Lincoln. But that's all I have. Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilperson Riley?
I have no further comments tonight, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilperson Demko?
I just wanted to say real quick, I wasn't at the meeting last month when council did a moment of silence for Ed Fisher. And I don't know if anybody here knows this, but not only was he a public works guy, but he was also a volunteer fireman. And just a great, wonderful guy, and we're really gonna miss him. And I just wanted to, a quick little story. My oldest one, who's 41 now, was 3 years old, and we used to live up on Hill Avenue in Carnegie. Well, I threw meatloaf in the oven one day, and I was playing with him, and all of a sudden, my oven caught on fire. There was smoke coming out of it everywhere. So I grabbed my son and ran out the front door. Well, at first I called the fire department, and took him and ran outside. Well, the fire truck pulls up, and the first one off the truck is Ed Fisher, with all his goggles and his whole gear and everything, you know, on, and then another fireman behind him. And so they come running in the house, where they're in there for a while, and all of a sudden the smoke stops. So he comes out of the house, and he kind of has like a little smile on his face. I'm thinking, oh geez, what, you know. So I says, well, what happened? He said, he held this smushed little red thing, and he said to my son, he says, does this belong to you? Well, here my son had thrown a little red rubber ball in the broiler part of the oven, and I didn't see it when I was in there. But it was so cute that Ed was so, you know, good with my son, you know, and told him, you know, you have to be careful with this and that. And, you know, he was the first one in there with, the, you know, the smoke and everything. But anyway, that every time I saw him, I would think of that, you know, and that was 30-some years ago. So he's been a volunteer fireman since, you know, for all that time, probably before that, huh, Keith? Yeah, so just a great guy. He's really going to be missed. And I just wanted to say that since I wasn't here last month for the meeting. That's all.
Thank you. I just have two things this evening. Obviously, right now we're into the rainy season, I guess, with all the consecutive days of rain. We had the dry spell and no rain, and now we have rain almost every day. But obviously, it won't be long at all before we have the heavy downpours and the torrential rains of June coming. So if you see a catch basin or a sewer line that's clogged or what have you, please report it to the borough building so we can get it open, because we don't want to have any flooding if necessary. So please report it. And the second thing I just wanted to add was that the borough installed a new website probably about a month and a half ago, 2 months maybe at this point. But if you haven't had a chance to check it out, please do so. Go on and take a look at it. It's really nice. One of the key features of it is if you have a complaint, there's actually a place on it that you can fill out a complaint log, and it actually gets routed to the correct department based upon your complaint. So, and it CCs Steve, it CCs if it's a code enforcement issue or what have you. People are CC'd on it, and it's really cool. We've been talking about upgrading our borough website for a number of years, and it's finally here, so I just want people to take the time to actually check it out, because there's a lot of useful information on there, and we're going to try to be using it more and more to put out more information and try to provide some updates on some current events and things going on within the town. Because obviously it's the time of the computer age, and we want to be sharing that information, and that'll get the most bang for the most buck with everything that we need to put out. So that's it. That's all I have for this evening. Unless there's anything else, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Have a nice evening, everyone.